Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here live at 1 with you. We're celebrating the Central Pennsylvania Theater and Dance Fest, which is going to go virtually live June 11th through the 13th. So we are broadcasting live at 1 every Tuesday and Friday leading up to the festival. And it is my extreme pleasure to bring to you someone that we can only call the granddaddy of the festival. We'll have to come up with a better name for him, maybe Godfather. I don't know. We'll see. But Commissioner Mark Higgins, currently he serves on 36 authorities, boards, and commissions at the county, state, and national level. This is roughly twice the commissioner average. We're not surprised by that, are we? His board service concentrates on leadership, small business support, job creation, tourism and recreation, arts and culture, good governance, and improving the quality of life in Center County in Pennsylvania. Helping found the Central PA Theater and Dance Festival allowed him to support several of his passions at one time. He is honored to represent the citizens of Center County and loves being a Center County Commissioner. So I bring to you this afternoon, during our first live at 1, Commissioner Mark Higgins. Hello.
Thank you, Elaine. Good to see everybody. Good to be here. So I do miss the live theater performances. I miss live dance. I miss in-person performances, and I really miss being part of that living, breathing creature called an audience. Congratulations to the Central PA Theater and Dance Fest. The first 2 years was amazing, with many theater and dance performances by 24 performing arts groups. Theater and dance are vital to the quality of life. In the third year, we pivoted, especially yourself and Cynthia pivoted very quickly. And we were able to have a festival that was virtual. Communities as large as New York City and as small as Stratford, Canada, utilize theater and dance to invigorate their local economies and create jobs. Enjoy the ability to see multiple performances on the same day in those towns. But please show your support by attending as many performances as you can and telling your friends about the arts community in Central Pennsylvania. Take a seat and enjoy. We all look forward to an even more successful fourth year. I know you, Cynthia, and the rest of the volunteers are working very hard to deliver that.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you so much. So I, along with Cynthia Mazant from Tempest Productions, I'm one of the co-founders of the festival. But you and I know the history pretty well since we were there at its inception. So, Mark, in 5 years from now, so obviously this year and last year certainly took a different sort of turn with the pandemic. But in 5 years, where would you like to see the festival and other performing arts in Center County?
Well, I think I'll mostly address the festival first. In 5 years, I see the festival as regionally respected, attracting thousands of festival goers, many from outside of central Pennsylvania. I would hope that we could bring nationally famous actors, actresses, dancers, and directors to perform and give master classes during the festival. I hope the festival could expand beyond 3 days, especially for the master classes. And that's kind of how they did it in Stratford, is they went big from the very beginning. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it was the very first year they offered performances at the Stratford Festival in Stratford, Canada. They blew almost their entire budget to have Laurence Olivier, the most famous actor in the world at the time, and still at least older people listening to this broadcast will recognize the name, to perform several Shakespearean plays. And it attracted, I can't remember now, 30 or 40,000 people in the inaugural year. And it was done with circus tents because Stratford was so small, they did not have a theater of any size.
Yeah.
So, if you can imagine seeing Sir Lawrence performing Shakespeare in a circus tent in Canada in the summer, it must have been very interesting. Here in Center County and State College, we can do a lot better than circus tents.
That's right.
We've got some great theaters spread throughout the county. Now, hopefully, performing arts in central Pennsylvania can continue to expand and become more successful over the next 5 years. Obviously, thank goodness the State Theater has survived the pandemic and will hopefully in the near future begin offering more performances for the general public. Um, I have seen more performing arts venues opening in connection with restaurants and beverage manufacturers. Uh, a few I can think of off the top of my head are Big Spring Spirits, University Wine Company on Route 45. Big Spring is in just off downtown Belfont. J&L Farm and Cidery, also on Route 45, and not horribly far from Bollesburg. Also, Pine Grove Hall. I'm probably not getting ahead of the news too far here to mention that the new cidery at the Titan Metal Complex on the edge of downtown Belfont will be a fairly good sized entertainment venue. For those of you who are familiar with Elk Creek Cafe and the fun and interesting bands they bring in, sometimes they're even regional. I believe the cidery, the new cidery in Belfont, because there's already one there, the new cidery will bring that level of band to maybe even one step above that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can see a lot of dance, live music, theatrical performances, um, classic music, all happening throughout central Pennsylvania as our population continues to grow and more arts lovers move to the county.
Yeah, and we know that quality of life is directly tied to the cultural and artistic endeavors of the people living in a community, and in addition to those that come from the outside. So, and you're right, Mark, we do have a beautiful expanse of traditional and non-traditional performing spaces. I mean, we love to go into what might be considered a more of a music venue, or even a something that's not even an auditorium, and do classical theater and poetry readings and live dance performances. And we're looking so forward to that. As we mentioned, this year's fest is still going to be virtual, June 11th through the 13th, but it's imperative that we invite folks joining us today live, and those that catch this broadcast later, that your support of the festival is going to make that difference and help us grow over the next several years. So thank you, Mark, for that wonderful projection of how the arts are going to be flourishing in our region in central Pennsylvania. So let's talk specifically about you for a little bit, since you are our guest. What are some of your favorite accomplishments as a county commissioner?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. I don't want to forget to mention some music venues that have been performing here for quite a while. There's this wonderful place called Webster's Bookstore and Cafe on Beaver Avenue that has a lot of local performances, and Cafe 210 on College. J.R. Mangan always manages to bring in some really nice bands there too.
Sure.
But to talk a little bit about myself, I really like working with others to improve the lives of Center County residents, working with hundreds of other stakeholders, including the judges and the district attorney. We've reduced the number of Center County residents held in the Center County Correctional Facility by roughly 40%. During the same time, the state prison population is down only about 8%. And in a number of counties, it's stable to maybe even increasing. But there are many positive benefits to reducing the number of citizens being held at the Center County Correctional Facility. Um, First of all, we're not locking people up like animals for very minor violations of the law. The county isn't having to pay out large amounts of money to help their family, because whenever you put somebody in prison, they're definitely a mother or a father or a son or a daughter who either has children or might have been caring for aging parents. And obviously, right now, we're beginning to hear some initial conversation about a shortage of employees. And if we have, say, 260 Center County residents in the correctional facility instead of 110 or 120, that's a lot of additional people who can't work, either because they would have worked themselves or because they're being able to take care of family members would then free up other people to work. And also, to the best of my knowledge, here in Center County, we have not been experiencing a crime wave over the last 6 or 7 years. Um, Another thing the commissioners have done is we installed a large solar array 2 years ago to provide 100% of the power needs for the Center County Correctional Facility. Over a 40-year period, this will save taxpayers between $4 and $6 million. It increases the security at the correctional facility, and it also eliminates millions of pounds of pollutants from the environment. The current Board of Commissioners doubled the Convention and Visitors Bureau grant funding for local arts, culture, history, and recreation nonprofits. Obviously, this increase in funding has assisted the festival, but it's also assisted roughly 80 other nonprofits in Center County that work hard as a group to improve the quality of life for our citizens and make this a more fun and attractive place for visitors to come as well. The commissioners have opened business incubators such as Bellefonte Springboard, the Phillipsburg Incubator, and Appalachian Food Works, which supports farm-to-table restaurants. With the help of the university, the Meshan Valley Economic Development Partnership, and the county, we actually have about the highest number of business incubators and support physical spaces of any county our size in the nation.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, we have, depending on how you count them, as many as 11. And as a reference, the entire Bay Area that surrounds San Francisco, population something like 3.8 million, has just over 80. Now, I will admit, there's our bigger, they're a little nicer.
Yeah, maybe a little.
But, with our population of 163,000, we have 11, which is about one for every 15,000 people, which is a very high number. And they have 80 that's split amongst about 3.8 million people.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, and all of these things that you're describing, I mean, those of us that live in the area know how deeply passionate you are for quality of life here and how many ways that you support this community. So tell me, what do you do in your spare time? Is there any?
Well, I spent a lot of time in Bellefonte helping with their revival there. I also have done a lot of work for rural broadband. We brought broadband to Penns Valley, 800 families that didn't have it before. We're bringing broadband to Snowshoe. That was a lot of extra work, and we've got some more projects in the hopper. Oh, goodness. For the last 6 months or so, I have visited over 300 local businesses. The commissioners have given away $7.3 million, and we're now working on investing the American Rescue Plan funding from the federal government in the county over the next 3 years or so. When I do have a couple of hours free, I eat at restaurants, local restaurants, especially farm-to-table restaurants. I attend live performances of many kinds, and I ride bikes on roads and rails to trails with friends.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that, again, that speaks to the quality of life that we have here in Center County and the surrounding area. And again, kudos to you and to organizations like Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, which the festival obviously owes a huge debt, and to all of the county commissioners, yourself, Michael Pipe, and Steve Dersham as well, for your support over the years. It means the world, not only to us as the festival organizers, but to the community at large. And so thank you to all of you. So Mark, it might be being in more than one place at one time, but what is your superpower?
Working with others to make things happen. One person can only accomplish so much, but when you work as part of an effective team, so many wonderful things can happen. And the Central PA Theater and Dance Festival is a very obvious example of that. My mother attended the Stratford Festival in Canada for decades. I know there's a Shaw Festival also up in Canada. There's a broad variety of other regional theater and dance festivals throughout the United States. And I'm like, we need one here in State College in Center County, but I am way too busy to do this myself. And I don't have the contacts or the skill set. And the first couple people I reached out to said, I'm retired. I'm too busy. I don't want to do this. But when I talked with yourself and Cynthia, you're like, we love it. We're going to put our lives into it and we're going to make it happen. And you have. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Mark. Well, you know what the expression is: if you need something done, get a busy person to do it. I think,
Yes.
I think we're not quite at your level, but I guarantee you, Cynthia makes me look like I'm sitting still some days.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this has been really eye-opening. I really appreciate, a chance to sort of take some time, even if it's virtually, and just have a conversation about the importance, not just of the festival, but of all the work that you do in the county. And like I said, you work closely with the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. We see the grant funding coming through, organized through the Bureau and the commissioners, and not just for our festival, but for many throughout our region. And again, that commitment to the quality of life and recognizing that arts, culture, community are all vital reasons that a person, wants to live in and stay in Center County. So thank you again for that. Is there any one other thing that you want Center County residents and those beyond, because I'm sure we're reaching far beyond Center County with our broadcast. What's one thing you would like people to know about you, Mark?
Well, I really like to talk with people in person, interact with people. And so the pandemic's been a little tough and been a little difficult. I'm looking forward to hopefully things becoming a bit more open here in the future as more and more people are vaccinated.
Yeah, I look forward to that as well. I know I don't like to put myself in a box, but I also am someone who enjoys conversations and seeing lots of people in my daily activities. And yes, the pandemic has taken so much from us. However, I believe, and I think you would concur, that we're going to see a wonderful, wonderful resurgence, flourishing of the live arts. I think it has reminded all of us dearly how much we rely on and how much we miss the live performing arts. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah. And I look forward to, poetry readings, dance performances. I was outside at a park the other day, and I had the extreme pleasure to listen to poetry and to watch a live dance performance. And I wept when she started dancing, Cora Franklin. I realizing it had been over a year since I had sat and watched a live performance. So, as we said, this year's festival is going to be virtual, but we look forward to many, many opportunities throughout the year coming up. And I remind people that your participation can happen in many ways in the festival. You can attend the festival this year. You can go to Central PA Theater and Dance. Oh, I did that wrong. Let me pull it up. Thank you. This is why the tech people, this is why arts and theater always need that tech person. It's there at the bottom of your screen, centralpatheater.com. And see all of the many performances. There'll be over 100 artists performing this year in the festival. And it's going to require your participation as well, even as it's virtual this year. Another way that you can participate is through Center Gives. Center Gives is an amazing event that happens yearly. I think it's its 10th anniversary this year. And Central Pennsylvania Theater and Dance Fest is one of the benefactors of your generous donations when you participate in centergives.org. Mark, it has been a pleasure to spend time with you today. Again, Cynthia and I, Tempest Productions, and the entire region owe you a debt of gratitude for your continued commitment to bringing arts into our homes, our parks, our theaters, and we look forward to many, many years of happy ticket-taking and events.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thanks,
Mark.
Elaine. Appreciate it.
You bet. Tune in Friday live at 1 when we will be spending time with Shannon Bishop of Black Cat Belly Dance. Shannon Bishop has been with us since the beginning of the festival, and we're looking forward to talking to her on Friday at live at 1. For those of you who joined us today, we say thank you so much. You can catch this broadcast later on as well, And we will see you Friday. And then we look forward to seeing you in June for the Central PA Theater and Dance Fest. Thank you. Bye-bye.